welcome back to the Artie Lange Show. Sitting here with Richard Roeper talking movies, pop culture. You know, it just reminded me, you were impressed by this. And I don't know how I know this, again, you give me the year between 1949 and the year 2000, so basically the last half of the 20th century. I'll give you the two teams in the World Series and who won.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy because we were talking about the '83 White Sox who lost to the Orioles, right?
Right.
In the playoffs, and then
Orioles beat the Phillies. Yeah,
I would never remember who the Orioles played.
No, I don't know why this is. I never sat down and studied it. It just happens to be in my head. I don't know why it is.
Now, so the next year in '84, the Padres beat the Cubs.
No, right, and then they got killed by the Tigers.
The Tigers. See, there you go.
Yeah, they got killed in 5 games. That's when Kirk Gibson at the 5th game hit the 2 home runs.
Nice.
That's crazy. 1960.
In 1960, the Pirates beat the Yankees. Yeah, that was Bill Mazeroski's homer.
The 10-9 game, right?
Yeah. Bill Mazeroski's homer. There you go. The score. I can tell you the score. Yeah, Mazeroski's home run beat them. That was a rough one.
Wow.
But 1984, actually, I was at that game in Detroit. My grandfather was in a German prison camp.
In Detroit?
After
things are rough.
Very
there,
odd family. Very odd situation. No, with a guy from Detroit, the last 5 months, they got captured in the Battle of the Bulge. The last 4 months of World War II, my grandfather goes to a German prison camp, and him and the other guy, they weren't Jews, so they weren't sent to a concentration camp. And my grandfather has a great story, though. His name was Caprio. He had 2 dog tags. And he noticed that they were taking the Jews out of line and doing something. God knows what was happening. They figured it wasn't good.
You weren't seeing him again, so that was a hint.
And my grandfather has a real touching story of he gave his other dog tag to a Jewish man who had a real Jewish name.
Oh, wow.
And saved the guy's life. The guy said Caprio, and he said they were cousins.
Really?
And they kept in touch for a while. The guy was from Pittsburgh. And he got thanked by his family and everything. He was like, because if you didn't have 2 dog tags, you could have been punished because they thought that's what people were doing.
Exactly.
So he took kind of a risk. It's it's probably the best thing my family's ever done.
Really? Like, kept in touch. The guy should have been washing his car every Saturday for a half century after that. Hey, you can wash the car, Ron. I can make a call.
Listen,
some of them still living in Brazil.
Yeah, those guys hung around for a while.
Yeah, Argentina.
Eichmann's still around. I got Eichmann on speed dial. And anyway, they became friends because one of the guys was from Detroit. He was in the camp with, and he went on to be kind of a big deal with the Auto Workers Union.
Okay.
And when I was 17, apparently my grandfather was good to him too. Did him some favors and stuff, and he said, "Hey, I got tickets to Game 5 of the World Series with me and my cousin Frankie, his other grandson. Would you want to come? We'll fly them up."
Wow.
And he flew us up. Got us a hotel room and took us to Game 5 of
awesome.
Padres Tigers, and that was the riot. Like we left, we got out of the Tiger Stadium. Remember, they were turning cars over and lighting them on fire.
Turning them over isn't enough.
Yeah, because it was fun, and it was like a war zone. But anyway, that's my memory of that. But yeah, for some reason I know that I have that memory in my head. And it's unless you have a show like this, I guess it's not valuable information. I got the one job where it works.
Right, exactly. That's the key. That's the key. Find the job.
So let's talk a little about Robert De Niro. The last movie, The Family, Luc Besson. My good buddy Jimmy Palumbo's in it. He plays one of the FBI guys.
Okay.
I thought he did a really good job.
He was terrific.
Yeah, they were good in it. And but what do you think about Robert De Niro's career? If someone 35, not even someone my age, go like someone who's 32 years old, you show them a picture of Robert De Niro. What do they say? Is that the guy from Meet the Parents? Is that the guy from Analyze This? Or is that Raging Bull? What do they say?
Well, that's the thing. They know I'm from the Meet the Parents thing. It'd be as
Probably
if
Meet the Parents, right?
Yeah. All those Fockers movies and all the other, and the Analyze This and that and stuff. It'd be as if, 25 years from now, Sean Penn was doing all like slapstick comedies, Oh, that funny, that funny little guy. Yeah. I mean, it's, and nobody, I think, is in De Niro's league. Look, I think he needed to make some money.
Right, that's right. I don't begrudge the guy.
Every few years you realize, hey, you hear the story. He has another surrogate kid.
Well,
he just had another baby.
He's got a lifestyle. It's like if you want to keep taking, Naomi Campbell to Paris on a private jet.
And it's like, what did he make for Mean Streets? $145 or something, or even going all the way up through, I think, Raging Bull. He was never making that kind of movie star money.
That's what's fascinating to me. How much money do you think in 1980? What do you think Robert De Niro and Al Pacino were worth? I mean, compared to like what Drew Carey is worth.
Ray Romano money, or any of that.
Not even. They were probably worth if that, a couple $1 million.
Yeah, so I mean,
If
you know,
that.
you look at Robert De Niro. So maybe when he was 60, and he started doing, or 55 to 60 years old, and started doing these comedies, and they're saying, look, Meet the Parents and Meet the Fuckers, and these things are making $200 and $300 million.
Right.
They say to him, well, if you do the sequel, we'll pay you $8 million or
What are you gonna
12
do?
million.
Yeah.
He's like, that's what he probably got paid for all of those
Combined.
movies for
Combined.
25 years.
Yeah.
It's a paycheck. You know?
And right, and how do you say no to it? But it's also like, okay, in these movies, you're going to be goofing on your classic characters. It's hard to watch that.
That's the
part.
thing. It's not just that he's doing something different. It's almost that he's cashing in on that. And it doesn't lessen the performances when you see him, but it does, for those of us that remember him, it's a little weird.
Right.
I'd almost like to see him now, if he's made enough money. Look at all the great roles that are on TV. And you look at something
Right.
like,
That's true.
Ray Donovan, and you look
Yeah.
at John Voight, who most people just thought, oh, he's this sort of semi-bumbling Angelina Jolie's dad,
Yeah.
with a scarf
You
around
forget
his
how
neck.
great
And then
actor
you
he
see him
was.
in the show Ray Donovan. If you haven't watched it, you should.
I wanna check that
'Cause,
out,
he's so good in it. I mean, it's the best work this guy's done in 30
No kidding.
years.
Now, what is he playing? The lead is the other guy. The lead is
Liev Schreiber.
Right.
He plays his dad, who just got out of prison for 20 years and is coming back to L.A.
Okay.
Now, because they're a Boston crime family. They got out of Boston. Liev Schreiber's now Ray Donovan doing a lot of security work for Hollywood guys, and then his dad shows up,
Right.
and just starts immediately getting into it.
Okay.
Getting into all kinds of trouble, and James Woods is in there as their old rival. I mean, but the level there of acting and the writing for roles like that, for actors of a certain age, that's why you see all these actresses now who are doing TV, because there are not that many movie roles for them.
It's a big commitment, a series like that, because you're
That's
talking
the thing.
15-hour days for a long time, and if it's successful, the way they make their big money is to get 5 years. So you're going to be there. It's a big-time commitment.
Yeah.
Like I watch shows but you're right. The new 70s film work is cable television nowadays.
Yeah.
That's where you're getting that quality, like Breaking Bad, Mad Men, your Boardwalk Empire,
Boardwalk Empire.
Homeland. Yeah.
And the cool thing is about a lot of those shows is that people like Steve Buscemi, people like Edie Falco, that might not necessarily ever get leading roles, get to carry a series, because the
Right.
series isn't like, well, you have to be perfect leading man, leading woman, 35 years or younger. It's about, you have to be a great actor. Sons of Anarchy, Ron Perlman, best role he's ever had.
Right. Oh,
so
definitely,
It's great.
yeah.
It's great to see all these, and the writing from these TV series is better than the writing for than 95% of the movies I
It's
see.
extraordinary.
Because the movies have become more than ever about the event, about Friday night, and about 17-year-old boys, and they want to see superheroes, and that's
Right,
fine.
yeah.
But what's the role for De Niro in that? What's
I
the
know.
role for Pacino in that?
Silver Linings Playbook comes along every once in a while.
Every once in a while,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's not going to happen a lot. But it's interesting. The TV shows, that's the move.
Yeah.
Do you watch you watch Game of Thrones, right, John? You like that? I never got into that, but
Game of Thrones, I love it. I don't end up watching a lot of the other TV stuff because I'm watching games that I've,
Yeah, besides sports, I go to a lot of
TiVo'd.
sports, but I got into Mad Men again because my fiance loved it. And then watching Mad Men, they show you promos for other things. So I binge watched Breaking Bad, which I thought was unreal.
Unbelievable,
And now there's this new show that I kind of got into from the promos called Low Winter Sun. That's based in Detroit. That's on AMC. That's really good too.
never even heard of that.
It's brand new. You
Yeah,
check it
just
out.
came
You
out,
might
yeah.
like it. We got to take another break. Come back and talk more with Richard Roeper. Welcome back to the Artie Lange Show. Sitting here with Richard Roeper. So the finale of Breaking Bad last night. Were you a fan of that show?
Yeah, from the
You did?
start.
Yeah. I
great
got
show.
into it, man, and I got to admit, sometimes you like to go, the hype's BS. But it was really good. That guy, Bryan Cranston, my God, he's the guy from Malcolm in the Middle, right?
He was Dr. Tim Watley on Seinfeld back in the
Yeah,
day. You look
yeah.
back and you go, wait a minute, just an
God,
amazing
what a
actor.
find!
Yeah.
Like they needed a guy who could go from a nerdy teacher to that, and my God.
Well,
what a-
Vince Gilligan, the creator, the amazing thing is I could see seeing him as the chemistry teacher, but that he saw in him that he could play this guy who became
Right.
the meth king of the Southwest, the most dangerous criminal in the country. That's the amazing thing.
Well, how he could go from doing something like when he was trying to save his brother-in-law's life, go from that to then when they're taking that kid Jesse away, telling him I watched Jane die.
Just
like
pure evil.
really
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the thing I loved about when Pacino changes in The Godfather is it's so subtle. Like he gets hit in the jaw. Like something happens clearly after he gets hit in the jaw by McCluskey. You know what I mean?
Right,
And then at that meeting, he starts saying what I want, what's most important to me, and he slowly goes into it. And that's like a real subtle thing, which was amazing. By the end, he's just like this darkest character. But with this guy, he really. it goes extremes, boom, boom, evil to do something nice, magnanimous, or evil. It was, I don't know, that could so easily seem hokey and bad, but he totally pulls it off.
Yeah, well, and then every once in a while you'd see that, that flash of humanity when he saw his daughter or something. Again,
Right.
It wasn't overdone, that you reminded that this guy once was this sweet, warm guy. But there were also some great moments, and if people haven't seen the finale, at some point I can't, work your DVRs for you.
Yeah, come on, it's been, a day.
But, for years on the show, everything he would do, as dark as it got, he'd always say to his wife, I'm doing everything for the family.
Right.
And she's, at one point, she finally, late in the series, says, if I hear this one more time, and he goes, no. He goes, I did it for me, actually.
Finally,
I liked it. I liked being
Right.
that guy. And that was like a great moment where he was honest with himself,
Finally came clean.
Yeah.
And it's cool at the end, well, like I say, at the end, he gives Jesse the option, like what to do. And
there were consequences in that show,
Right.
Like real, popular, beloved characters got shot in the head because of what this guy did. People that didn't deserve it, got it because of what he did.
There's that one woman at the end, that baby face kid who's just like a monster.
Yeah, and that's the kind of stuff that happens in the real
In that
world
world,
if you're that guy.
No, exactly. Yeah, you get involved in meth. That's about as dark. If you're cooking meth, that's a dark life you're leading. Richard, thanks so much for coming in, man. Of
course, Artie. Yeah.
Come in anytime.
Good luck with the book.
Thank you. Book's
forward
coming
to
out.
seeing it.
And what do you want? Anything you want to plug in particular, or you on your website or Twitter? Or
Go
something?
to richardroper.com, at Richard Roeper. I've been around long enough that I have the actual name. I got no underscores. I got no
Great, good for
asterisks.
you,
It's
man.
like richardroper.com. It's not .net, .org/_ or at Richard Roeper. on
Cool.
Twitter.
All right. Well, that's awesome. We'll do that, and hopefully talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, Artie.
Richard Roeper.
Thanks,
We'll be
guys.
back with.
The Artie Lange Show, weeknights on Audience, only on DirecTV.